More than 18,000 people have died, but that figure will be much higher as deaths in care homes and the community have not been factored into the total. The government's response to the COVID-19 pandemic is coming under increased criticism, particularly over its delay in getting personal protective equipment to frontline health workers. The lack of testing being carried out nationwide is also an area the government is being pushed on. In his first Prime Minister's questions as leader of the main opposition Labour Party, Keir Starmer questioned stand-in Prime Minister Dominic Raab over the government's promise to carry out 100,000 daily virus tests by the end of the month.
We're way behind the curve, and the end of the month is a week tomorrow. So what does the First Secretary expect to happen in the next 8 days to get us from 18,000 tests a day to 100,000 tests a day?
Capacity for tests is now at 40,000 per day. So I think that is an incredibly important milestone. And of course, he's right to say that in the final week, that will require a big increase. I can reassure him that we are working with a range of commercial partners to boost the testing to get to that 100,000 tests per day.
Our reporter in London is Victoria Smith, and she has more on the government's response.
Of course, this was the top of the list, the main question here at Parliament today in the first PMQs since the lockdown. Leader of the opposition was here in the House, along with Dominic Raab, who's acting for Boris Johnson while he convalesces. And yes, his first question, Sir Keir Starmer's first question to the government was about testing. Now, apparently there is capacity to test 40,000 people a day here in the UK, but that is not happening. And the tenet of Sir Keir's argument was that those who need the testing simply can't get to the testing centres. They would have to get public transport. They would have to leave their houses, which in lockdown is a difficult, even arrestable thing to do. So that target of 40,000 isn't being reached. So which begs the question, will that target of 100,000 a day be reached with just 8 days to go to reach that target? Now, the Health Secretary is still sounding robust in his answers about that, but he will have to tackle this problem about how people that need the testing actually do get to the testing centres. And on PPE, on protective equipment and ventilators, Sir Keir Starmer asked the government why were they so slow to procure these items? Why did they use British manufacturers to help? They have offered rather than turn to countries abroad.